Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Monday Night Football. There is so much football. Holiday weekend. Oh my goodness, what a great week to talk about football. And I wanted to wait because I just didn't know what to think about Josh Dobbs. I didn't know what to think about Justin Fields. So we got to start with the Monday Night Football game because, man, I had high hopes from the Vikings. I got on the Josh Dobbs bandwagon. Go check my past videos. I was on the Josh Dobbs bandwagon. 4 interceptions later against the Chicago Bears, I am off the bandwagon. How do you throw 4 interceptions and lose to Cairo Santos? The player of the game was not Justin Fields, was not DJ Moore, was nobody really on defense, even though there was some great plays made by Jalen Johnson, as well as great defensive back play by Jalen Johnson. But Cairo Santos, and he missed a field goal. When you think of a kicker missing a field goal, why would you ever give him the player of the game? Because he scored the only points for the winning team. The only points. Josh Dobbs had 1 touchdown to go with his 4 interceptions. I'm upset. I'm upset, okay? I'm upset. I'm sorry. I just really got excited about Josh Dobbs, and the hype is over. We'll see if the Vikings make the playoffs. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'd have to go team by team at this point. But I'm not as confident as I used to be. So that's very sad. But let's get back to this holiday football. We had 3 Thanksgiving games, starting with the Packers-Lions. I picked the Lions, and I thought that was an easy, safe bet. No, Jordan Love decides to go back and play his best game of the season after playing what was his best game of the season at the time against the Chargers, following that up on a short week, going to Ford Field on Thanksgiving, and throwing 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns to go with 268 yards, no picks for the boy. He looked good. And not much of a running game was present. Christian Watson stepped up, which was huge. Jaden Reed did his thing. Heath came out of nowhere, had a great game. Had, 1 catch before that game and 4 on the day? I mean, man. The defense steps up, forcing 3 fumbles. I mean, come on. Packers look great. I think the Lions will bounce back. I'm not too worried about them. But, it's still a tough loss when you're trying to fight for the top spot, and we'll talk about the Eagles in a second. The Commanders, they had to fire defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio, as well as their safeties coach, or defensive back coach, because things just weren't working out. They expected their defense to be great. It has not been great. It has been far from great. And that also doesn't help when you trade away Montez Sweat and Chase Young. But at the same time, the Cowboys rolled. Dak Prescott had 330 yards and 4 touchdowns. And now I think we got to pay some some respect. I mean, come on. I have not heard Dak Prescott's name in the MVP conversation. But it should be. But it absolutely should be. We just love hating on Dak. We do. We really do. And I don't blame you. I'm one of them. Because if Dak Prescott didn't want to be hated on, he'd win the big games, He would win the big games. And he just hasn't. He hasn't. Which is a great opportunity coming up here against the Eagles. But they look good. Commanders look bad. It is what it is. 49ers handle the Seahawks on Thanksgiving at the end of the day behind Christian McCaffrey's big game. It's a good performance. Another playoff team probably taking a fall. And the 49ers really have bounced back strong, which is a great sight to see for the 49er faithful. Now let's hop into Friday, the first ever Black Friday game. The New York Jets. They benched Zach Wilson and got worse, maybe? Definitely not better. They didn't pass midfield until the 4th quarter. The Dolphins had 7 sacks, so that, not necessarily is Tim Boyle's fault. 1 touchdown. They got an offensive touchdown. I guess that's good for a Jet. But the Dolphins did their thing. Put up 34 points on a great defense, and they just rolled. Gave the Jets all kinds of trouble for their new quarterback. I don't know. I don't expect much from the Jets. They're going to miss the playoffs. The Dolphins are going to go to the playoffs, but they got to start beating some better teams here soon, which I'm hoping we can find that right right quick. Finally get to the Sunday games after 4 pre-Sunday games to start week 11. We gotta talk, or week 12. Week 12, man. We're on week 12 already. Pittsburgh goes in, finally gets 400 total yards on offense. Finally. First week after Matt Canada is gone, they put up 400 total yards. Yet there is still a distinct lack of effort. We saw it all over social media amongst the fumbles. What is going on? Deontay Johnson is still clearly upset. I mean, I don't know what. You won the football game. You beat a depleted and just a very depressed Cincinnati Bengals team without their starting quarterback, their franchise guy, one of the best in the game. It's just going to be a tough year. The Bengals are officially out, and I'm still up for debate on the Steelers because they barely beat that Bengals team that was definitely depleted, and they just didn't show much excitement about it at all. But the Jags, they squeezed past the Houston Texans, and C.J. Stroud has been looking good. He did his thing again, over 350 total yards, and he put him in a position to win the game at the end, and man, darn kicker missed a field goal to tie it up, and the Jags will win. Trevor Lawrence looked good. Okay, don't discredit him. 364 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 on the ground, 1 in the air. And the Jags are looking real nice. I think this is a good win for them. They're really going to start rolling. Now, the Bucs miss a chance to squeeze the lead of the NFC South by falling to the Colts, man. I mean, the Colts, neither team really played great. But the Colts got the edge. The Bucs fall, and the Falcons making a 3-way tie by beating the Saints. The Saints did have Derek Carr, and they still, why is the NFC South so inconsistent, man? I never know what to expect from any of these teams except the Carolina Panthers. They are the most consistent team in the league, or the division. Unfortunately, it's a bad consistent, but it is what it is. The Giants beat the Pats 10-7. They're both bad. Oh my gosh. The Panthers, they fire Frank Reich. They move on. Because the Panthers have now lost 10 games in 11 weeks, or in 11 games. They've lost 10 of them. There's just been no promise. There's been no flashes of greatness from their offense, from their defense. It's nothing. Nothing excited to get about Bryce Young. Frank Reich had to go. Changes had to be made. Because this is just depressing. You got to give your fans something to look forward to, and Frank Reich hasn't done that. Bring someone else in. But the Panthers lost to Tennessee. Neither quarterback looked great. But Derrick Henry is still the king. So do your thing, bro. The Rams, were they battling for the playoffs? They came out and smacked my Arizona Cardinals after I decided to have some faith in them. Not sure why I did that. Probably won't do that again. Rams come out and they look good. They looked really good. They're battling for a playoff spot after beating Seattle last week, the Cardinals this week. I think they're going to find their way into the playoffs. Don't doubt. The Broncos continue to roll. They beat the Browns, who just look very sad at this point. I think P.J. Walker should come back and start, but who am I to say? Dorian Thompson did not look that great. He had to have trick plays to really do much of anything. It was unfortunate, but you know what? It is what it is. Broncos rolling, though. Russell Wilson, my goodness gracious. Do your thing, bro. Do your thing. It looks good. It's actually fun to watch the Broncos now. It is so fun. So keep it rolling. The Raiders, on the other hand, they started off nice against the Chiefs, but they fell. They lost steam. The Chiefs did their thing, came back, got a bounce-back win after losing to the Eagles on Monday Night Football last week. And the Eagles come back to deflate the Bills' playoff chances. I mean, again, I've been trying to join Bills Mafia all year, and I can't. I've been let down. I mean, they had the hardest schedule going into it. And I was like, cool, you know what? These guys have been to the AFC Championship like 4 times now. And no. It wasn't a historic game when your leading passer and rusher is the same player on both teams. Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen put on a show. But, man, the Bills, they just fall short. They've had some injuries, but, man, they really just don't have a consistent running game. I mean, outside of Stephon Diggs, their pass catchers haven't been great. It's just sad. It's just sad. Too many turnovers. The Bills, their season may be over. And I don't know what's next for you. I really don't at this point. Jalen Hurts had 5 total touchdowns to bring the Eagles to a 10-1 record. Man, they look good. Hard to bet against the Eagles now. Hard to bet against. I'm going to. Heads up. I'm going to. I don't know why, but I feel it. Okay? That hasn't usually went well for me, but I'm going to do it again. The Ravens handled Chargers on Sunday Night Football. The Chargers just don't have it. Just kind of a mediocre team this year. Ravens did their thing in primetime. Ravens still look like one of the best AFC teams, if not the best. And we'll see how that goes. And we already talked about Monday Night Football. What a garbage game it was. A 12-10 score with 4 field goals for Cairo Santos, winning the football game. And that's it. That's it. It was a fun week. Don't get me wrong. It was a fun week. But there were some very interesting things. Why can't we have a good primetime game? Monday Night Football was horrible. I'm upset at Josh Dobbs. Okay? But it was fun. We're really marching towards the playoffs now. And, man, things are getting exciting. We're seeing the pretenders separate themselves from the contenders. And we love it. We love it.